Very much for the warm introduction. I'll tell you the truth. When Bergen asked me to talk, address you guys, I told him maybe you could find someone who's more knowledgeable, more respectable, and then I realized he kept persisting. And it's likely because the last time I played him in tennis, he beat me 6-love, 6-1, and that one game that he gave me was pretty much a giveaway because he felt so bad for me. So I realized I owed him one. That's why I'm here addressing the crowd. Rabbi Bergman told me a little bit about this program and why he called it the WOW program. I have a novel approach, which I'm not sure that he knows about, and I want to try and explain it to you why I think this is called the WOW program. I want to create an image in your head. The image is one that we pretty much all have, and whether or not you got it from the Torah or if you got it from a movie, it makes no difference. I want you to think about the ark. Whether you know from Raiders of the Lost Ark or whether you know from the actual verses in the Torah, everyone's pretty much familiar that the ark was a vessel, it was a box. In the box was the tablets, not only the second pair of tablets that were whole, but the broken tablets that were in the ark. On top of it was a cover, and on this cover were two figurines, the kruvim, these cherubs, one opposite the other. And the verse goes into a lot of detail about these kruvim, these two figurines. Not only were they formed out of the kaporos, out of the ark itself, but more importantly, they were created from two different sides. One from Mikatzeh Echad, one from one edge, and another one from Mikatzeh Echad, and one from the other edge. And the verse says something very interesting, which I only picked up on this year and I looked into. It says that the kruvim, these cherubs, these figurines, Pneim Ishal Achiv, the faces faced each other. But then the next few words in the same verse says, Ela Kaporos, to the covering of the ark, Hayu Pnei Kruvim, were the faces of the figurine. The obvious question is, so what was going on? Were they facing each other or were they looking down? The first part of the verse says, Pneim Ishal Achiv, each cherub faced each other. And the next one says that they were actually looking downward at the covering to the ark. Why do I think this is at all relevant to Baltimore 2011? I think the following is an incredible explanation that I saw. It says in the Baal Tur, in one of the great commentaries, he says the image of these two figurines, which were on the vessel of the ark, which was in the Holy of Holies, the greatest piece of matter that we consider in Judaism, the holiest piece that sat in the Holy of Holies, was the image of two people sitting and learning one opposite the other. That's what the kruvim were. That's what these figurines were. It was one mikatzeh echad from one edge, from one background, from someone who may have not had the ability to have a Jewish education. He was on one part of the ark. He came out of the ark from one side. On the other side came another individual, maybe from a different background, a completely different background, maybe with a solid Jewish education, maybe with a solid upbringing within Judaism. And now they're sitting opposite each other, learning together. But not only that, the Rabbeinu Bechaya, one of the great Rishonim, almost a millennium ago, had said the following. The verse says they were facing each other. It means that their faces were opposite each other. But what were they focused on? What were they looking at? They were looking down at the ark. What was in the ark? The tablets, the Torah, the luchos, the ones that were complete, and the shivrei luchos, the ones that were broken. Everyone has a different perspective. Everyone comes from a different background. When you have two people sitting and learning, one opposite the other, and you're focused on the Torah, whether it be Medrash, or Tanakh, or Bible, or Mishnah, or whatever it is, Jewish culture, and when you're learning one opposite the other, you are recreating that model that God created for the Holy of Holies, the greatest vessel that we have. So, yes, it happened thousands of years ago. And yes, we don't know where the ark is. Maybe there are some characters in the movies that are still looking for it. But what you can create in this room, and what you can create even after you leave this room, when you learn with a partner, whether it be someone that has the same background, or even more so when someone doesn't have that background, you are teaching, you're educating, you're learning back the reciprocal relationship. That relationship is focused on the Torah. And what does the verse say about where God met Moses and spoke to Moses? From in between the two figurines, that's where the voice of God would come to speak to Moshe. Why did it come between those two figurines? Why didn't it say it came out of the ark? Because it wasn't coming out of the ark. It came out of the partnership of two people, one sitting across from the other person learning Torah. If that's the case, it makes a lot of sense why WOW is the name of this program. It's a palindrome. There's a WOW, which stands for one-on-one. Okay, maybe it's not English, but there's one person on one side, another person on the other side, there's an O, there's a table in the middle, there's two people learning. They're opposite each other, they're faced at each other, but their focus is on the text, on the studies, on what they're really trying to learn. Not only that, and this may be a little bit more of a stretch, I just want to end with one interesting concept. Nachmanides points out, again, almost 800 years ago, he writes in a letter that he wrote to his son, who he was distanced from. He says, the first words are, Shema b'ni, listen my boy, Musa avicha, to the rebuke of your father, and then Torah imecha, but to the Torah, the Bible of imecha, of your mother. And many commentators ask, why did he word it in such a way where the Torah is coming from your mother? Many people associate their education in terms of Judaism and culture, a lot of times in terms of study, from the father, the one who's sitting and learning, potentially in a beis medrash, in an environment where they excel in yeshiva. Whereas the mother didn't always have that role. So why, almost 800 years ago, did he use that term, Torah simecha, the Torah of your mother? And he explains, the Ben Ish Chai, one of the great Sephardic rabbis, explained that when it comes to the truth, there's all kinds of partial truths, there's not so much the truth, then there's absolute truths. The only thing that's absolute in terms of relationship between a child and his parents is that the mother is the mother. The father is not always so clear 100% who the father is, but the mother, as the child is born, there's no questions. The absolute truth is that this child is associated with this mother. Therefore, the Ben Ish Chai explains that Nachmanides was saying, when it comes to all kinds of different things, there may be difference of opinion, there might be things that you don't really understand, and say, okay, I'm not so sure that that can be validated, that's verified. When it comes to other wisdoms, when it comes to the Torah that one learns, it's like the relationship you have with your mother. It's absolute. It's clear. There's nothing else that this relationship can be. That's what Torah simecha is. When you learn Torah, God is speaking to you, and there's an absolute truth through it. Wow, if you flip it over, it becomes mom. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to connect. That's what you guys are doing here. Trying to connect one person to the other with this relationship. And when you do here in Baltimore, in this room, and other places that you learn with other people, you allow, when you pray, you talk to God. When you learn, God talks to you. How does He do it? By having a relationship, a partnership with another individual, learning, studying, educating yourself. This program really is phenomenal. I think whether that's a better word than wow or not, I think it's incredible. And the more you gain from each other, it's not just the people that are teaching. Talmud always says that the more you teach, the more you learn. You learn more from your students than you learn from anybody. So both sides of the table have this reciprocal relationship. Everyone's learning, everyone's studying. The more you grow, the more you get inspired by another individual, the more you share that with other people once you leave this place, the more we can find Torah Judaism in our life. I think the better we will be in terms of Judaism, in terms of our relationship to other people, relationship to ourselves, and of course our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. May you have continued success. Thank you for inviting me.
Wow really means without words. Because I don't have words to thank you for that. That was incredible. Thank you.